Welcome back. Now, the Western Cape has recorded 7 new deaths, and that's bringing the total number of COVID-19 fatalities in the province to 117. The province says a total of 573 new cases were reported in the last 24 hours. Now, there is a total of 6,767 cases confirmed in the Western Cape, and that includes 2,283 recoveries. Joining us now on the line is Kenneth Makatees, who is the SABC Western Cape news editor. Good morning, Kenneth, and welcome to GMN.
Hi, good morning. How are you doing?
Very well. It's good to talk to you this morning. Now, we have seen that South Africa has a highest number of COVID-19 infections in the continent. That's around over 12,000 cases. What's the feeling on the ground?
The virus being spread through people. The first case
cases that were reported here was because of people that were traveling from abroad to South Africa. South Africa has got a relative big population, not the biggest in Africa, but it's quite a large population. We've got a very active economy, and comparing to what is happening to the world, yes, of course, people are concerned, but I think people ought to understand what is happening. And also, don't forget, you have high positive results because you are testing people. If you are not testing people and you're not testing them in the right way, then you obviously will not have the results that you want to see. The government is quite confident that this is under control. They have made certain projections, and in fact, where we are now is not close to what they initially projected. So I think, yes, of course, everybody's concerned about the virus and the role that they have to play, and that we all have to do our part to ensure that the virus is not being spread. But I think people do also accept that this is a reality that we are living with.
Are you saying the projections are lower than what was... are you saying the current infections are lower than what was projected?
Look, I'm talking about the actual tests and results that we have. For example, if you look at the figures that were released by yesterday, there was an additional 665 cases, additional to what was reported the day before. Now, in my view, it's relatively low. The West, just take the Western Cape, for example, where I am. The Western Cape provincial government has said at the peak. According to them, initially the peak was August, September. We would see about 80,000 positive cases. Now, August, September is what, 2-3 months away. That would have meant that we need to have increases about 20,000 a month. That are far off from the initial projection. I must also add, in the latest briefing, the Premier said that the peak time is now in July. So you understand, the initial projections and the kind of management that they put in place seems to manage the process. So yes, it's very concerning that the numbers are increasing, but it's also not a surprise because government has said from the start, we are not going to escape this. It's going to increase, and the rate of increases that we are seeing is not what is being projected. And I think there is a confidence that they feel what they call the flattening of the curve, that the infection rate is taking slower what they thought it was going to be. And remember, when we went into this lockdown period, the government said that we need this lockdown period to prepare the country to deal with the crisis. We need to put hospital beds in place. We need to increase our ICU capacity. We need to get ventilators and so on and so on. So they were basically buying time. And I think that's what they've been doing. But we haven't seen the huge increase that was initially projected. But also, on the other hand, I think we are dealing with something that's new. I think a lot of evidence is coming to the fore. To a large extent, the science depended on what you were getting from countries in China, like China and Europe and so on. But it's also now clear that countries' experiences are very different from each other.
Okay. Now, the country began with level 4 of the lockdown, allowing residents to exercise outdoor as well as for businesses to reopen. What do you make of this decision, especially tying in with the results that are now coming out of 573 new infections within a day?
You know, there's a lot of people that's very unhappy about the fact that government hasn't dealt with the restrictions and lifted some of the restrictions. I don't know how well you're following the news, but the leader of the opposition announced yesterday they're taking government to court about it. There's some other people that's doing it as well. But I think it's a difficult, very difficult task that the president and government is sitting with. On the one hand, people are paying a heavy price. A lot of people have lost their jobs. A lot of businesses are closing. The economy is really, really in deep trouble. So, but on the other hand, you have got a virus that's moving fast. People are getting sick. People are dying. And I think the president and the government must find the ideal way in dealing with the virus on the one hand, and then, of course, on the other hand, the expectation of the population. The president addressed the nation on Wednesday night, like an update progress report, I think it was. He indicated that we will move to level 3 by the end of May, which in about 2 weeks' time. And yesterday, on a visit to the Eastern Cape, he was actually emphasizing it again. But what we most probably are going to see is that the hotspot areas are going to be identified. So even though the country might be moving to a level 3, we might see stricter restrictions in those areas that's been identified as the so-called bushfires for the problem areas.
Correct. And that's, let's talk about the Western Cape that continues to record increase in COVID-19 fatalities. What's your take on that?
You know, I know that people have been saying that the Western Cape is the epicenter of the virus and so on, which I don't think is necessarily true. The Western Cape provincial government has said that they are following the triple T. That's the trace, test, and treat. The Premier said in a message yesterday that the methods they are following are database and scientific lab. So they feel they've got the situation under control. So what is happening is they identify what they call bushfires. They identify problem areas. No, this is not the Western Cape as a whole. There are certain areas. And what they are doing is, what the virus is now clearly shown is that it expands and it moves very fast in where high concentration of people are. That's why it's so important that people must stay at home. They must help to control the virus. The virus moves as you, as a person, are moving along. So, so they're quite happy with it. They feel they've got it under control. They identify the areas. They move in there quickly. What is interesting, though, as well, is that yesterday the national minister said that they're adopting what the provincial government of the Western Cape has said they are doing all along, and that is targeted testing, a targeted testing approach. So you identify the area, you go in there, you identify the people, and you identify all those people that the person identified positive has contact with. And that is why we see the difference that we've seen in other provinces. I don't know whether people in the Western Cape are more prone to the virus. I don't think so. I think what we are seeing is an effective way of testing people.
Ineffective way of testing people. But coronavirus, some reports are saying coronavirus is essentially out of control in the Western Cape province. And you have spoken to us about some of the bushfire areas. What are the social behaviors of the people in these high densely affected areas are? What are the people doing different?
You know, I assume there are people that adhere to the regulations. There are people that doing their bit, but unfortunately, there's also a lot of us that don't follow the rules and don't play their part. Okay, the conditions that people are living under is also very difficult, and it's very, very, it's not easy. We've been under this restriction now for weeks. Now, to sit in a home and maybe you sit in a very small house or shack or something somewhere, it's virtually impossible to live under those conditions. But we have to wear our masks. We have to maintain physical distancing. We have to stay at home. Remember, the virus don't move around on its own. It's we human beings that are moving around. We are carrying the virus and we are spreading it out. We have to stay away from people. We have to stay away from places where people are congregating. And the evidence that's now coming out here in the Western Cape, it's very clear that where people are congregating, now whether it's at the shop or at the place of work or wherever, that's where the bushfires are identified.
Now, we also understand that the president's trip to the Western Cape has been called off. That's after the premier, that is Alan Vinde, went into self-quarantine after he came into contact with ENCA's cameraman Lungile Tom. What's your take on this, and what was the purpose of the president's visit to the Western Cape?
Look, the president's got a very hands-on leadership style. He's now addressed the nation quite a few times, 4 or 5 times. He clearly leads the process. He acknowledges the pain and the difficulties that people have. He reassures people. He visits the sites and so on. I think this is what he's doing. It's not only the Western Cape. He's been to Gauteng. He's been to KwaZulu-Natal. Yesterday he was in the Eastern Cape. And yes, he was supposed to come to the Western Cape, but because of the cameraman's death and the fact that the premier was last week in the same room, in fact, that they were interviewing the premier.
Yeah, they had an interview.
Has then decided to go into self-isolation. And that's most probably the wise thing to do. In fact, we've done the same thing with our reporters that were also in that venue. To postpone the visit, I assume it's most probably going to take place sometime after the premier ends his isolation, or if he's not tested positive.
Now, significant change is needed in order for us to handle the outbreak, especially in the Western Cape. What are some of the measures that should be put in place to contain the virus?
Yeah, as I said, there are certain things that we are doing. I'm very strict in my office, and the people that are reporting in my office, they all have to wear masks. Nobody is allowed into any of our spaces without a mask. Masks have been made available. Sanitizers are all over the places, in their list, in the passages. We have people sanitizing all the edit suites all the time. We encourage people to stay at home and work from home. So the mask, physical distancing. Please remain 2 meters away from your colleagues, your friends. It's important to maintain that. And then thirdly, please stay at home. Only go out and go to the shop if you need to get the essentials. We have to remember that we are spreading the virus. The virus is not running around on its own. So we've got a huge part to play in this. So there's a lot of information coming from the SABC. We've got a wellness program at the SABC. We've got a health lane. We've got a counseling line. We've got a SABC protocol, and because of the colleagues that were tested positive, it also impacted on us. That we immediately put in place and that we are putting in place. At the moment, my office, for example, has got 7, by now, last night, we put 7 staff members into self-isolation. And in terms of our protocols, we're going to stay in there for the next 7 to 9 days. Okay. Unless, of course, any one of them tests positive, then, of course, the whole story is going to change, and then a new protocol will come into play.
Great. Thank you so much, Kenneth. It was great talking to you. Sure. Great. There you have it. I was in conversation. That is with Kenneth Makatees, SABC Western Cape news editor, talking to us about the situation on the ground. As we know, the Western Cape is one of the severely affected provinces in South Africa, with more than 6,700 confirmed cases and a record of 573 new cases recorded over the past 24 hours. Chairman, we take a quick break and then we take you to the news updates.